In this video, I will present the 8 different permaculture maps that I sketched out for the property that I live at, 1162 Guil Street, located on the south side of Chico, California, about 3 or 4 blocks from Lower Bidwell Park. Chapmantown is a long-established Chico neighborhood. Its soil is very loamy and fertile, being it's right next to the park. Down here on the northeast side is Martin Luther King Park, owned by CARD. Just open soccer fields, baseball fields, and all that fun stuff. We have a church located to the left here, and I am presenting 8 different maps. We have a base map, you'll see, a water map, a path map, microclimate map, sector map, zone map, sketch map, and then the master map, which basically has all these layers of maps combined. Now, the house itself has an area of about 1,524 square feet to be precise. We have trees as located in the key here. We have wood chipped paths in zone 2. And we also have the fence, a chain link fence that goes all around the property. And the other structures is a work shed, a water heater hut. Here's the water well over here. Now for my zones, basically this side of the property is going to end up getting sold. So this side of the property is the main focus. And the main gardening designs I have going on here is a hoop house where I propagate vegetable starts, keyhole garden beds, beds for flowers, perennials, nitrogen fixers, and the works, and different edible shrubs I also intend to put on the sides here and behind here. I also have a hugelkultur hole. I say hole because it'll be a future hugelkultur mound. I have some brush that's basically right here on the property. For the sake of the layering of the different maps, I just don't have it incorporated. And we have the compass right here. North is this way, so the sun rises approximately from here in the east, sets in the west right there. And this base map, of course, shows all the basic structures and driveways, the front porch, and will be seen as such for the next 7 maps that are being presented. So here we have the water map. For here we have 3 additional keys. We have the swirly arrow, which indicates the water flow that falls off the roofs. We have the straight arrow that indicates the water flowing off the concrete slabs, and then the water puddle right here, which is self-explained. Basically, this is where the different slopes in the land are, and the water conjugates after a nice rainfall. And then one thing I want to point out with here is this is a flat roof, so water kind of teeters out on all sides. This roof here, water's not flowing on the sides here because the roof slants this direction. On the southwest side, and then the northeast side pointed in the backyard. And yeah, moving on, we also have the path map. Now these paths, this path on zone 2 is already fully established, and then these are other paths that I want to design in the future, wood chipped paths that go to all the different spots that I am normally at. The paths here in zone 3 are going to basically be swale paths where I have brims on each side scattered about. I'll have fruit tree guilds and overall food forest here. They also go to the compost pile, and they will go to the hugelkultur mound once it is all set up. And then we have the microclimate map. And for the microclimate map, we have the red indicates full sun, the purple indicates all shade, but it really depends on the season. Once spring furthers along and summer becomes established, the oak tree will have more leaves on it, so this will be a much more shaded area. We also have these swirly lines here that are only in the hoop house because it is a much more humid environment. And then here, the garden bed heat. The garden bed heat we have in all the garden beds in zone 2 because I did sheet mulching where I have cardboard, I have oak leaves from this tree and cypress leaves that were gathered under the cardboard. Then I have rice straw on that. Then I have the horse manure on top of that. And then the whole here is Chapmantown soil, very loamy and fertile, that is mixed in with this and tilled up on top. And I found that it is extra hot. I have peas already planted in the center here, and they are doing wonderful, even though I started them from seed outside about a month and a half ago when it was much colder, but they are still thriving and doing quite nicely. So the garden beds themselves are their own main microclimate. We also have the sun and shade spots. Here we get the morning sun and afternoon shade. Here we get the afternoon sun and morning shade. And moving on to the sector map. Now in the sector map, we have a few new icons. Here's the wind direction icon. As such, wind sketches. We have the summer sun, where the summer sun will end up hitting because the sun rises in the east, sets in the west, and it does so more centered around the property, where in the winter that sun is slanted over here with these orange squiggly lines, which is indicated right here in the key, winter sun. We also have these curvy parallel lines, which is noise. Most of the noise that happens on this property is back here in the open field of Martin Luther King Park, which is basically soccer fields, baseball fields, a recreational area. And the wind mainly is coming from this direction. I observe it usually blows to the southwest direction, but it also blows in this direction as well, basically because it's an open field up here, while with all these structures here, there's much more natural wind block on the property. Moving on, we have the zone map. I have 3 zones in total, zone 0 being the house, of course, and then the zone borders right here, circling 0, 1, 2, 3. You see it up here. Zone 0, living space, mostly always occupied by me and my 3 roommates. We also have zone 1, which is the backyard, mostly occupied. There's not a lot going on in this zone, only an herb garden that I will end up establishing eventually. But due to my living circumstance, I do not have power to do anything to this zone. I am renting zone 2 and zone 3, this area here as a whole, which is sketched out. And it is sketched out to 66 feet across, 62 feet in length. And in zone 2, which is this side, we have our main veggie garden and pollinators, nitrogen fixers, edible shrubs. The hoop house I also include in that because I visit it daily, just like this zone. In zone 3, I have a lot more to still do. It is still mostly empty, but it will be a future food forest. It will be the lowest maintenance zone, and the focus is swales, fruit tree guilds, and at one point it'd be nice to establish a wildlife pond basically in front of the future hugelkultur mound, which is currently a hole, and next to the compost pile. Now we have, oh, my back. Now we have the sketch map. The sketch map is basically the areas where I'm congregating in the property as a whole. So in zone 0, the house, we have my room here, we have the kitchen, we have the main bathroom, the living room, the driveway where my vehicle is parked. Out here, when I go in the backyard, the first thing I usually do is sit around here. I don't have a lot of activity at all going on in the work shed because I can't have any of my tools or anything in the work shed, being that this property has to be cleared. The landlord's going to sell this side of the property. But occasionally I go to the oak tree because it's an oak tree. It's beautiful. And then we have occupied space here in the hoop house. And then, of course, visit my compost pile frequently, every other day usually. And then here where I'm going to have most of my plants propagated in this first season while I do my best to stretch out to these other keyhole garden beds as well. And then all of those maps I just presented is all located together in this master map, which I love so much. I decided to put on the wall to always wake up in the morning and look at, to remind me of my plans and what to continue to design and work on. So the master map has all the keys that I just went through, and even though it looks like chaos, it is orchestrated chaos, and hopefully by looking at it with what I presented, you can see all of the activity on the property. Thank you for watching.